Hello, this is Sweet June 2010. Um, just chilling out this Labor Day weekend. Don't celebrate, but it was nice to have the day off. Um, Today I want to do. Um, I've been doing a lot of reading. I like to take technology breaks. Um, you know, um, what I like to call them technology breaks, where I kind of just get off the computer, get off the tablet and the phone for a while and just sit down and, do some reading, you know, um, try to read my spiritual material or read books that I enjoy reading. Um, I like to read informational books. I love to read, and I like to read informational books. Um, just very interested in different people's points of views on certain things, and um, just very interesting material. And then plus I learned a lot. I love to learn, so I learn a lot from reading some of the informational books, and I just enjoy reading them. And a lot of the novels out there, I love to read novels, but the problem with reading novels is that it's hard to find them sometimes that doesn't have a lot of sexual content in it, and I try to stay away from that. Try to stay away from reading novels that have a lot of sexual content in them. So it's hard to find them because sex sells. So it's sometimes kind of hard to find a good novel that doesn't have a lot of sex involved in it. So I just kind of gear more towards the informational books. And I've been reading a lot of those lately. Very interesting. Um, so I'd like to do a little bit book review. I want to talk about Steve Harvey's Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And I've been reading, actually I've read his other book, Straight Chaser. I actually read that book. I might do a review on that one. I actually bought that book, so I have been read that one, but I picked up this book in a bookstore one day, and I kind of read through it, and I said, this is a lot of stuff that I pretty much already know. But I seen it at the library. I said, well, I'm going to read it. I haven't really had a chance to really read it from, front cover to back cover. So here's some interesting outlooks on things as far as telling the ladies, talking to the ladies about, what we should do. If a lady wants to get married, find a lasting relationship, he has some interesting tips on telling women, educating women about the male psyche, about pretty much how men think, And so I thought that was interesting because he's pretty much educating us women on how men think and what some of the things that goes through men's minds. So I thought that was interesting. So that aspect of the book, I find it pretty interesting. Um, the one thing that he talks about in the book that I think is kind of interesting is the 90-day rule. And I find that very interesting. He talks about the 90-day rule. And I like Steve Harvey. I enjoy watching his show. I think he's very intelligent. Some people, I read in some of the blogs that some people be saying, well, how can he give marital advice, or how can he give advice to anybody when he's been married 2 or 3 times? But sometimes experience is the best teacher. I don't necessarily agree with that because I think experience is the best teacher. I think that we learn some of our life's most important lessons through trial and error. We learn some of them. I know I've learned a lot about. I've learned a lot about men and things like that through trial and error, and getting older and getting wiser and just life experience. So you do learn a lot, when you go through certain situations and you deal with certain things. You do learn a lot. It's like I talk a lot about single motherhood, and I try to talk to these young ladies. I've done some videos talking about trying to tell young ladies to wait, that sex can wait, having babies can wait until marriage. And some people might argue, well, how can you talk about somebody, having kids out of wedlock when you had them yourself? Well, duh. I've had them. I can speak about it because, yes, I have had children out of wedlock, and I can tell you that it is being a single mom is very difficult and it's very hard. I can speak on the experience because I've been doing it for a long time, and I realize how hard it is and how challenging it is, and the consequences of having children outside of marriage. I can speak on those things because I've experienced and experiencing those things. So yes, I feel like I'm fully qualified to speak on it, not in a judgment type of way, but to educate. So I think it's the same theory with Steve as far as marital advice. He's been through it, so he kind of knows what, because he's been through it and he had the failed marriages, so he kind of understands and knows how what to do and what not to do in a marriage. He learned through trial and error and through life experience. So I think that he is definitely a qualified person to. I mean, would you rather somebody to write the same book that never been married before in their life? You know, a 20-something that's never been married before in their life. Would you like somebody like that to write the book? I don't think so. So I think that he's certainly qualified to talk about, um, what women need to do to get and keep a man. I think he's definitely qualified because he has the experience to talk about it. He had the life experience to speak upon it. So, with that being said, anyway, um, he, talks about the 90-day rule in this book. He talks about the 90-day rule, and I think, like I said, I think that's interesting because being a Christian, um, I don't necessarily agree with that. You know, um, he's basically talking from a worldly perspective. He's basically speaking about that from a worldly perspective. But I'm going to tell you my opinion based on a Christian perspective. Okay, so what he's speaking upon as far as from a worldly perspective, that you will wait 90 days. A woman, if she's dating a guy and she wants to get married, she will wait 90 days to have sex with this guy and give the guy the benefit of her body. Well, I'm going to let you know that, being a female, being a woman, you know, and being a woman of a certain age, I've learned a lot of things, not just from personal experience, but just being around, as long as I have up to this point in my life. So, I've learned a few things and I observe and read and, all those kind of things. And in my opinion, I just think that a man, if a man, that's not going to tell you if a woman, that a man wants to stick around with you. Coming from a woman's perspective, I don't feel like making a man wait 90 days that's not going to determine whether this guy is going to be a keeper for you. That's not going to determine whether this guy wants to marry you. I mean, I don't think that's going to determine it at all. I think if a guy really, really wants to have sex with you, he can still just be in a relationship just to have sex. If he really, really wants to have sex with you, he will wait for 90 days. Okay? He will wait for 90 days, and while he's waiting for you for 90 days, guess what? He's having sex with other women. Okay? While he's waiting 90 days, okay, I'm going to go. Let's say he's dating a woman, and she says, well, I'd like to go ahead and just wait. I want to get to know you first before I become intimate. I just want to get to know you. Maybe she's not necessarily telling him she's going to wait 90 days, but maybe she's saying, well, I think I want to just, date you for a while. I just want to get to know you, before we take this anything anywhere further. I don't want to just jump into things. I want to date for a while before I, you know, go that far with you. Okay. That being said, um, and let's say, he really, really wants to, as they say in the world, sample that. Maybe, let's say he really want to sample it, Um, yeah, he'll wait for her the 90 days. You say, okay, well, no problem, We can go out on dates and talk on the phone and have fun and do this and that and the other for 90 days or wherever, how long she wants to wait. Um, And while he's waiting for this lady, the 90 days, guess what? Like I said, he's out there having sex with other women. Okay? While he's waiting for her the 90 days, he's out there having sex with other women. And okay, let's say the 90 days is up, and she say, okay, I'm ready. This guy seems like a nice guy. I'm gonna go on and you know, let him get some, and then and so the relationship takes an intimate turn, and they get intimate, and then okay, now he knows what he's been waiting for. Okay, so he knows what it's like to have sex with her. So then he can just after that he can just say, okay, well I got what I want. So I'm just gonna put her in the category of um, yeah, depending on how he felt she was in that area. He can say, well, I'm going to go on and put her in a friendship category or whatever, and be done with it. It depends on at what place that guy is in his life. Okay, if that guy is not in a place in his life that he wants to get married, he will not marry any woman that he gets in contact with. It doesn't matter if you wait 90 days or whatever. Okay, he is not in a place in his life where he's ready to get married. Okay, and so if he's not in that place, you can wait 90 days all you want. He's not in that place. He's not going to marry you. You wait 90 days and you have sex with the guy thinking, okay, well, he might be a keeper. I think this guy might be a keeper. And then after that, he puts you in the friendship category. I'm going to put her in the friendship category. Maybe I can call her back and then we can hook up again and that kind of thing. In the meantime, he's got a couple of other women, maybe 2 or 3 other women that he's doing the same thing with, that he's hooking up with. Okay? Simply because of the fact that he's just not in that place. He's not in that place in his life where he's ready to get married. Now, that's just my personal opinion. That's how I feel. That's not the only thing I feel, but that's just a theory. My theory, my personal opinion of that. If that man is not in a place where I've been in relationships with guys that didn't even have no intention, or dated guys that didn't even have no intentions of getting married. Okay. So it didn't matter if I wanted to get married or was thinking of him as a potential keeper. If this guy didn't want to get married, if he wasn't in that place in his life where he wanted to get married, he's not going to get married. Or I could be with him for 2 or 3 years and they still won't be ready. They will be emotionally unavailable to you. So I just don't, and another reason, now that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily agree with the 90-day rule thing, but there's another second reason why I don't agree with it is because as a Christian, I think that, coming from a biblical perspective, I think that a woman should just wait until marriage. Wait until the man puts a ring on your finger. Like Beyonce, I love that song. By the way, I love that song. If he love you, then he should put a ring on it. Okay? So I happen to love that song. So if he love it, let him put a ring on it. Bottom line. And I think it's a process of if you tell a man up front, that if you tell him up front, I'm waiting until marriage. If you're looking for just a fly by night type of thing, I'm not the right woman for you. I am waiting. I'm saving myself till marriage. I don't want to have sex with a man until that man is my husband. Now, what's going to happen when you tell a man that upon meeting him? If he's not looking for a wife and he's just looking for somebody to have sex with, he's going to be gone. He's not going to give you another minute of his time. Okay? He's just going to put you in the platonic friendship category and be done with it. Okay? So you don't have to worry about, you don't want that guy anyway, because he's only looking for one thing. If you want to get married and you're saving yourself to marriage, well, you don't want that guy anyway. So he's doing you a favor. So, the ones that's just looking for to sleep around and want fly by night, he's going to be history. He's going to be gone. But the one guy that you tell that to, you meet somebody and you tell the guy that, and he still wants to date you, and he still wants to stick around with you, now he might be a keeper. I'm saying might. I'm not saying for sure. I'm saying that he might be a keeper. Okay. Because there's some other factors involved, whether that will determine whether or not that this guy is a keeper, not just because of the fact that he's waiting on you. But some guys, if like I said, it depends on this at the stage in this man's life. Depends on if he's looking for a wife and he's looking to settle down, and he hears that coming from you, and you have a lot of other qualities that he likes, he may be willing to say, wow, she's not giving it up to me. She's not giving up to me. I know she ain't not giving it up to nobody else. Okay, so that guy, if he's looking for a wife, he may see you as a potential keeper. But if you meet a man and he's not looking for a wife, and you tell him that, he's gonna skate. He's gonna skate. He's not gonna want to spend another day or another minute or hour with you. He's gonna go on to someone that is willing to give him what he wants. Okay? So that's how you weed them out. That's how you weed them out. You want to get married, you want to settle down. The best thing as a Christian, from a Christian perspective, is just to go on and wait till marriage. Wait until, like Beyonce, he put a ring on it. He loved you, should have put a ring on it. I love that song. Well, I love that song, and that's what he needs to do. If he loved it, then he should have put a ring on it. Okay, I had a guy I was dating. I had met him online, and I told him, and that was I was at the beginning of my spiritual journal. Journal. I was in the beginning of my spiritual journey. And I told this guy that, I told him just that. I said, I'm waiting until marriage. I said, if you're looking for somebody to have sex with outside of marriage, maybe I'm not the right woman for you. I'm not the one, because I'm not going to have sex. I don't have sex outside the marriage. I just came on out and told him straight out, I don't have sex outside of marriage. And, that guy wanted to date me anyway. He still wanted to be with me. He was thinking about having a future with me and everything, but he just turned out to not be the right guy. We didn't have any chemistry. We wasn't connecting. And he was a nice guy, but he just wasn't the right guy, But that guy still wanted to date me. He had made a statement in the beginning of the relationship that, well, the next woman I be with, I want to live with her first. And I was like, well, I told him, I said, well, maybe maybe I'm not the right one for you, because I don't shack. I just told him straight out, I don't shack. I don't live with people. That guy still wanted to be with me. Okay? He was a little younger than me, so I asked him did he want to have children, and he said, yeah. I had already had 2 sons, and I had my tooth tied. I said, well, maybe you don't have the right woman. I said, because I can't have any more kids, and nor am I willing to have any more kids. He still wanted to be with me. This guy still wanted to be with me. He still wanted to invest time in me. So, you know, so that's what I'm saying. If the guy, it depends on what the guy is looking for. If he's looking to get married, then he's still gonna wanna be with you. If you tell him that I'm gonna wait and save myself to marriage, then he's still going to want to be with you. You know, you know, and especially if he likes you, he's attracted to you. He likes your qualities, and he might feel like, okay, this might be a woman that that's two things. If he's attracted to you, he likes you, and plus if he's looking to get married, he's looking to settle down. Those are the two factors. If you tell him that you're waiting till marriage, he may be very well willing to wait, and so um, and he may still want to date you. That's how you weed them out. That's how you weed out the guys that's just wanting to have sex with you, just want to have a sexual relationship, and don't is not serious about getting married. From the guys that are looking to get married, are looking to settle down. Okay, I'm gonna do a part 2 on this. Sweet June 2010.